What's up, guys? Vajramanataya swaha. Vajramanataya swaha. Vajramanataya swaha. Vajramanataya swaha. Vajramanataya swaha. No pressure. Just relax it. Vajramanataya swaha. Vajramanataya swaha. Vajramanataya swaha. Vajramanataya swaha. I figured I could speak about Kuji-in a bit. Then I figured practicing Kuji-in causes your stuff to rise. What is unresolved? Maybe it's not a good idea to cause stuff to rise while you are seeking in my class not only wisdom but some entertainment. You are seeking to change yourself of the mood of this period that we're crossing. So maybe I don't teach Kuji-in because it makes stuff rise. Could make situation worse temporarily. So I thought, let's be compassionate to them and provide more entertainment and cool experiences instead. And then I thought, what the heck? This is what I do. So I'll speak about Kuji-in. I'm just going to speak about it a bit. And stuff can rise. It's life. Not during class, after you practice in the following days. So we have to be careful about ourselves and serious in our personal growth. Good. My translators ask me to give pauses between each phrase, because sometimes I just can't follow. I'll do my best to remember that. pay attention inside, and we relax. We find ourselves. Good. Kuji-in was first drawn in a book in 200 years after Christ, in year about 200 something. And the book was written by a Taoist, Ji-hong is known, his name. The book is called To Live as Long as the Heaven and the Earth. It was written as a method that simply augment every aspect of the human. Augment efficiency, power, healing. It just augments everything. Well, that's how it was used in that context of a Taoist wanting to live longer. And he got it from the Buddhist that came from India. So before that written statement on Kuji-in in China, Kuji-in is a Japanese word. In that time they called it the 9 mudras, Navamudrani, okay, in Sanskrit. So it comes from India. So up until then it's a verbal transmission. And it's the Hindu for a few hundred years who have been invoking Lord Indra. So instead of invoking Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they invoke Indra, the boss of all other gods, of all other concepts of divinity. Meaning that it's a prayer to every other aspect in nature, in the manifest world. Thank you, Raven. In the Hindu prayers to God Indra, we pray his power, which is Vajra. Understanding what is Vajra is not obvious. Vajra is, if you want, the emanations of it's the state of being, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, if you want, but not at that level. Denser, when we are dense in the local world as an individual. As an individual, we wish to keep a mind state of non-distinction and absolute truth. So that is an inspiration to what is Vajra. Okay. So in the many times the word Vajra is invoked in Kuji-in, like vajramanataya swaha. Vajra is a divine attitude towards the natural world, or in an individual. Sakyamuni Buddha expressed the Vajra as a lightning because it is instantaneous. But the moment you see a lightning, it's gone. So it's an extremely powerful event that is not persistent through time. And when you realize it, that moment is over. So it's impermanent. He also describes it as a diamond, which is the thing that is the most permanent. For in that time, the diamond was the thing that does not break. So a diamond is the thing that lasts forever. Diamonds are forever. So it is impermanent, and the moment you realize it, it's gone. But it is indestructible and the most durable thing. What the hell is that contradiction? Okay? It is the paradox of supreme consciousness. The paradox of consciousness. It's a state of non-distinction, of timelessness. It is also expressed by Sakyamuni as the dew in the morning. At some point, there's water on the flowers and the leaves, and then it's gone. But while it was there, you realized it. But without realizing it, it went away. It is also expressed as a ghost, like a woken dream. All of this is just 4 lines of text in the Diamond Sutra. Contemplating reality as a lightning, a diamond, the morning dew, and a ghost. It is still cryptic. Many times I give classes on non-distinction and how to perceive the soul. We will give an example here. Contemplate inside and try to feel the following teaching. Before you were born, before you were even conceived, what form did you have? You had none, yet you existed. After your death, even after your body has decayed, what form will you have? None. This is the form you have to see yourself in now. Before your human body defined a temporary form for you, what is your true form as a consciousness? You are formless, yet you are not deprived of a form. That is how the Vajrayana Buddhists express what the soul is. Contemplate yourself as a formless, yet not without a form. Pure being. And you're not defined by your human shape. You are just pure being, formless. An interesting parenthesis. If that has been used in Vajrayana to teach about the self, It means the Buddhists believe in a self, in a soul, although it is formless and indistinguishable. So if in the introduction teachings of Buddhism there's a misunderstanding that we have no soul, that the soul does not exist, that's a misunderstanding. Because every other advanced teaching suggests that there is a thing that is us, formless and undefinable, but that's what we are. Okay. So we are formless. Let's take another example. If little wolves are born in the forest and their mother does not speak your language, their mother is a wolf, and the mother does not give names to their babies, and these little wolves live without having a name, do they still exist? Yes. If you would have no name yourself, would you still exist? Yes. Imagine yourself without a name. You are not your name. You are nameless. And everything you have defined as you is irrelevant. You are not the definition you gave yourself. So you are nameless, formless, and therefore you purely exist free of any concept of identity. It is still you. It is still a local experience, but without defined locality, form, or name. So contemplate yourself formless, nameless, and feel that freedom. That is Vajra. That's the Vajra state. It is one aspect of it, at least. The pure consciousness of being, not defined by any manifest phenomena, yet we are still in the manifest world. We are here. So Vajra, we could say, is the true self. But without training in what is the true self, we simply cannot understand. If we just read, this is my true self. No, this is my true self. I respect myself. Bam. You would use the expression my true self and then apply it to a human situation. You would say, I have found my true self. I want to be a plumber or a cook. That's not what we're talking with being a true self. If you say, but it is my true self, I want to be a cook, this is your defined self. This is not your true self. We use the concept my true self in so many applied natural phenomena, in so many defined way of being that are not our true self. The true self, as explained by the concept of the Vajra, is knowing yourself not a slave of the form, the name, the career, the definition. You're not defined by your wealth. You're not defined by your lifestyle. It is just purely being. We'll go even further into not believing in our own human as a permanent thing. This too will pass. To contemplate yourself formless, nameless, and not defined by any aspect of being. How does it feel? The liberation of identity, the freedom. Good. This is just an introduction to what is Vajra. Try to hold on it and keep this state of being or this state of mind to be in a state of Vajra. We say in Sanskrit, vajraman. To be in a state of Vajra, vajraman. If we want to train to have that state of formless and undefined self, while we are doing things in life, we want the Vajra state to flow. We want it to accompany us in daily task. That flow is Thai. Vajramanataya. Okay, so we just contemplate now Vajramanataya, the Vajra undefined self. I want to remain in this undefined state, not bounded by my limits and my beliefs, not bounded by my name or my role, while I play my role, while I act in my life. It is correctly written. Varaman is not correctly written. It's Vajramanataya. We got it. Vajramanataya. I am formless, nameless, not defined by who I am, who I'm supposed to be. And I want to keep that feeling as much as I can while still concentrating on my work. So it's a desire to remember what I truly am while I face the world that defines me, that gives me a role, a job, a task, a purpose. In another class, I teach we have no purpose given by the universe. We are purely as we are. But we seek a purpose. God gave me a mission. What is my role in this world? We say things like that. We want to have a purpose or a role, because we fear feeling useless. If you don't want to feel useless, simply be useful. Be useful. Contribute to the world. But you were not given a purpose or a mission. It is something you can do by your own free will, being useful. But that is why you seek to have a purpose as a being. What is my purpose here? What am I supposed to do? Whatever you want. But the universe has not defined a role for you. As a good New Ager, as a good New Age hippie, we imagine that we have a purpose as a soul. But that is a lie. We can do whatever we want. We are so free that it is terrifying. Nothing in the universe defines what we are supposed to do. We can do whatever we want. So we have no purpose. We can be useful. We can help. We can contribute to the world. We can be a hero if we want to. But you don't have to. It just feels much better. We imagine we are given a purpose because we're afraid of being useless. And we're so afraid of absolute freedom that we need an imaginary friend, an imaginary God to give us a role or a mission so that we can feel part of a group or be important, like God gave me an important task. No, that's in your head. You're not that important to be receiving a task from a God. You are absolutely free. And you can make yourself useful if you feel good about it. It's actually a solution and a key to understanding compassion. But you are still without a purpose. Everything you attempt to make you feel important is a failure of the ego to understand freedom is absolute. You are free. And that means without a role and without a purpose. And that is scary. So try to feel yourself now. Formless. Nameless. Without any definition. With no role in this world. With no purpose. Pure consciousness and freedom is absolute. You can choose to mess up. You can choose to encourage suffering or to alleviate it. You can choose to promote happiness. Freedom is so profound. But you have not been given any importance by God or angels or anything. That is in your mind. That's just an invention of a good New Ager. Feel that freedom. It can be scary. If you want to preserve that power, the freedom of not being limited by anything else than nature, to feel not limited by anything in your mind, the only limits are the ones imposed by nature. Your form, your health, if you can't change it, your age, and your cultural situation. These are outside phenomena that you live in. But you are so limited by every conception you have in your mind about yourself. Imagine the possibilities of not having anything in your own mind to come limit your freedom and the extent of your usefulness. That gives you great power. But that freedom is scary. It means you can't lie to yourself. You were not given any importance by the universe. You can act in a way to feel proud of yourself. That will feel good. If you act hoping that others will make you feel important, that will be your downfall. If you contribute with no limit in your mind to feel satisfied of yourself, that is a good feeling. If you seek that pride to be filled by others, look at how good I am, you will again have an expectation in your mind of a role that you play for others. The study and the practice of the state of being Vajra contemplate what is Vajra in what we have learned today. Formless, nameless, completely free, not defined by anything, even spiritually. And the only limit is the body you have built and the laws of nature, because we're here. And even that sometimes, rarely, can be transgressed, the laws of nature. But usually, we have to face them and accept them. Just contemplate that. This being who is not this body. The being that is just purely what you are. Oh, I'll use that opportunity. Once you have a good feeling of what is Vajra for you, imagine that every other being are truly that. First, you discover this experience for yourself. But imagine that every other entity, human or other, are completely formless, nameless, and without a purpose, completely free, just as you. And every star and every galaxy is also like that. And absolutely everything is formless, nameless, without a purpose. That is the experience called Mahavajra, the greater application of the undefined self. That is how I perceive myself, by how I actually perceive others. And that is what I've trained, using this soul name as my reference. But I'm not Mahavajra. I'm not defined by a soul name, and you are not defined by your soul name. Even your soul name is a game of the humans to inspire us. You have no name, not even as a soul. You're purely as you are. I decided to use Mahavajra because this is how I perceive and experience the world. It's not about my feeling of the Vajra, it's I see everyone free like that. And that is how I can see that you can make it and trust in your evolution. So that was a little parenthesis that I found interesting on how I train, but I'm not limited to this training. There are states of being that I experience that are greater than that one, but that one is interesting. I decided to refer to myself as that state of being when I contemplate Mahavajra. Okay, so hopefully that was inspiring to you, because you should train in seeing yourself as Vajra, as purely being. And then to perceive the others with the same freedom. And you will be so free. In your mind, when you meet someone, you want to give them a role. So, what do you do in life? Where are you from? When you meet someone, you actually want to define them. So as wanting to know the job and the place of residence of someone, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? You know, getting to know someone, which is a good thing. But you cut them from being true self. I mean, you can't affect someone else's state of being like that. But in your mind, you are not endorsing truly what they are. You're contributing to their definition. It is a good way to meet someone. But remember, it is not the truth of what they are. So you train the Vajra state with you. And then you expand yourself by keeping the state of mind and letting it flow. So you would accept the others also as not defined by what they do, by what they are named, by the form of their body. Vajramanataya. 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 This is the art of making the Vajra flow, making that state of being in you affect the world. But the first step is to find it as yourself. In martial arts, they use the index finger pointed because it is another aspect of the Vajra that they want to allow to rise. When you realize your true freedom, you realize how unlimited you are. And that is powerful. So they want the power to rise. So they use the index. They want to have unlimited power by knowing they are not defined by their body. So warriors, when they fight, even if the body is hurt, they are not. So they can keep on fighting. Okay? In personal growth, we use the major finger, what I am. Let's call it the finger of personal growth from now. So we would think and do our best to feel, I am truly what I am, not defined by anything. And I wish for that state of mind, that freedom, that liberation of definition, for me to keep that state of being as I roam the world and find my way to be useful, basically. Okay. I want to let that state of being flow with me as I act. Om vajramanataya swaha. 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 Okay, Jivatan Raven, just let it go. Stop distracting the students while they practice. Just be there. Do your best with what you know. Om vajramanataya swaha. We see ourselves as formless, yet we have a body, because the formless state flows in the reality we have. Nameless, yet I'm here as a human, and I use my identity to function in this world. It is acceptable. I'm free of any purpose, and I have the freedom to do anything. And I can choose to be useful. The useful part is not part of Vajra. Vajra is not even defined by utility. That's just me inspiring you the possibilities. But Vajra is not even limited by your use. complete freedom, pure being, and I apply that as I flow in this world. Om vajramanataya swaha. Deep breath. Let it go. Since the first step of the Kuji-in, we contemplate formlessness, nameless, unidentified, freedom, the power, the opportunity. Anything in your mind that is counting on your dreams and definitions to justify itself will shake and be disturbed inside. It will rise. If you need your role to feel important because you are so afraid to feel small, that you compensate by being so important to so many people, practicing Kuji-in will shake the foundations of how you need to feel important, and it will break you. The dangers that I've been told about Kuji-in is that it will work. It will free you from your arrogance, but your arrogance will rise. It will strongly invade you inside, this desire to truly be. And what is not you will feel threatened, and it will fight with what is you. And that requires training in personal growth. And that is why I have specialized in personal growth, so we can deal with what we truly are. So if anything, rise after you've practiced the first step of Kuji-in RIN. This video is not enough to learn Kuji-in. You should read about it. And there's many seminars online about it. But this was a very good initiation on just the practice of the first Kuji-in. If you are only going to do that, you can do just that. Om vajramanataya swaha. Om vajramanataya swaha. That is called the step RIN in Japanese. I used the Japanese nomenclature, although I practice the old Hindu way. And someone says, why don't you call it Navamudrani and leave Kuji-in alone? Simply because those who want to learn that technique, they call it Kuji-in. So I name my books and my advertising that way. Those who seek that wisdom, they call it Kuji-in. So I say I teach Kuji-in because it is exactly what they are talking about. I named it Kuji-in instead of the ancient Navamudrani, so that those who seek the wisdom will find it by calling it how they call it. But I am not Japanese. I am not a master of martial arts. I am a newbie in multiple attempts at martial arts. I've done a lot of martial arts, but I've never specialized. It is not my role. It is not my usefulness. It's not a purpose I've given myself to be a martial art, to be a ninja, although I love ninjutsu. Thank you for your time. That was cool. Relax. Just keep in mind, it is possible that waves of anxiety will rise. Yes, it's what happens with wanting to stopping to lie to yourself. Yeah. See you tomorrow.